All right, let's talk about something that happens in almost every office, but that we rarely name: office politics. You know what I'm talking about. It's that invisible force, that unspoken game that can literally make or break careers, kill projects, and believe it or not, even decide the fate of a whole company. Okay, so let's start right here, because this quote, this is the heart of the matter. Every single company at its core is just trying to figure out how to split up a limited pie. Money, promotions, headcount, even just the boss's attention. And how a leader handles that simple fact, well, that's the real test, isn't it?
And it's right in that struggle, that fight over who gets what, that this other, more destructive game gets started. We call it office politics, but what does that even mean? What is this invisible war really all about?
So look, this isn't just about who gets the best chair or who drank the last of the coffee. No, this is a strategic game. It's about using your influence and relationships to get what you want, completely outside of the official rulebook. It's about who you know, not just what you do. And this game, it has very, very real consequences.
To see just how bad it can get, we've got to look at a classic cautionary tale from the 90s, Warner Music Group. This is pretty much a textbook case of what happens when office politics just goes completely off the rails.
So, what happened at Warner wasn't just some healthy competition. Oh no, it was basically a full-blown civil war at the very top. The company's main business was no longer making music or finding the next big star. Their main business became winning the internal power struggle. Different teams, different executives, all just fighting for control.
And check out the domino effect here. All of management's attention turned inward. Decisions weren't being made for the good of the company. They were made based on which side would win. Trust? Gone. It became more important whose team you were on than how well you actually did your job. And while all this was happening, the entire music industry was changing around them, and Warner was just too busy fighting itself to even notice.
Man, after a story like that, it's pretty easy to just throw your hands up and say, well, I guess this is just what happens at big companies. But what if it doesn't have to be? What if you could actually design a company where politics just can't survive?
And to see how that's possible, let's switch gears and look at another huge company, Nestle. They had all the same problems, tons of people, internal competition, but they took a completely different approach. And this is just brilliant. See, Nestle didn't try to change people. They're not trying to change human nature. They changed the system. They made the rules of the game totally clear. Step 1, your budget is tied to your results, not who you play golf with. Step 2, get rid of all the extra layers of management where political games fester. Step 3, be transparent. Make sure everyone knows how decisions are made. The new goal was simple: succeed by creating value, not by cozying up to the right person. And the result was pretty amazing. When the official way to succeed is also the clearest and the fairest way, well, why would you bother with all the backroom deals and whispering campaigns? The incentive to play those political games just kind of dries up. Departments started working together better, and what do you know? The whole company started doing better. So when you put the stories of Warner and Nestle side by side, you basically get a playbook. It becomes super clear what kind of environment fuels toxic politics and what starves it of oxygen. This slide right here is the key to everything. On the left, you've got the recipe for a political disaster. Nobody knows the rules, the boss plays favorites, and no one's quite sure what their job is. That kind of uncertainty forces people to play politics just to protect themselves. But on the right, that's the antidote: transparency, fairness, clear roles. That builds trust, and it lets people focus their energy on, actually working. And here's the most important point. You're never going to completely eliminate politics. I mean, we're human. That's an impossible task. But what you can do is build a system where playing politics is the absolute worst, most inefficient way to get something done. You make the official system the only game worth playing.
And that brings us right back around, full circle, to where we began, with that ultimate test of a manager's wisdom.
After seeing the stories of Warner and Nestle, this quote hits differently, doesn't it? It becomes obvious that office politics isn't just some random thing that happens. It's a direct result of choices made by leadership. It's a symptom of how the organization is designed and whether fairness and clarity are actually put into practice. So that's the real question I want to leave you with. Think about where you work. Is the game there set up to reward the people who create the most value, or is it set up to reward the people who are just the best at playing politics? The answer to that question, well, it tells you everything you need to know. Thanks for tuning into this explainer.